get on some tests, man. I'm trying to get some TRT in me, and no, just some testosterone, man. Let's see. I mean, if my insurance covers it, why not get a little boost of the test? I feel like my T levels are dropping in my 30s. You know.
Yeah, 40s even better.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get a little test. I'm trying to get swole like I was when I'm in my 20s, man.
Back when I used to teach him jiu-jitsu and shit.
Yeah, so I
made him call me Master Brian.
And so while I was there, I was like, yeah, my noodle's not working anymore. You think I could get one of those blue pills? So he gave me a prescription for the blue pills. Yeah, and I was like, so I took it home. Like, man, those things are expensive. I only got 3 of them.
Oh, and, yeah, they're pricey. They're super
like
pricey.
$40 a piece or something. I was like, just give me 3. He gave me a prescription of 30. It was like $600. It was crazy.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So
I brought that much?
No. I'm just bored. So I took it home and I broke it in half. Anyway, I took it, dude. It was like having a morning wood at 6:30 in the afternoon.
This dude,
it was crazy.
18 years old at 7 a.m.
Stuck's drinking coffee. I'm drinking a Rockstar, and you're taking a fucking dick.
Yeah, I took a fucking Viagra.
Stand up.
You're gonna cut that out, right? No.
Nah, man, I'm fucking recording right now. I'm lazy. I'm not fucking taking it.
He says he'll cut it out. And he'll just put the whole thing on. That's a
I'll put it on a loop and shit. It's on a highlight reel. Adobe Premiere Dick Pro.
There's no cutting it out with Brian. He just puts the whole fucking thing up.
Yeah, and I don't blame him.
He's like, fuck that. It's 2 a.m. I'm not doing no editing.
So I don't know, Stuck, if you know, but I met Andrew over in Virginia when I was at DLA. Basically, we became friends and fucking started. I got him into jiu-jitsu a little bit and stuff like that. But he runs some fucking businesses, some restaurant business. He runs a couple of Waffle Houses over there in Virginia. So he's got
nice,
crazy ass stories. So we both had kind of this mindset to do this Righteous Dad podcast, both because we got fucking crazy kids and basically the same kind of interests as far as reading books and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the other videos, but
yeah,
Andrew's sure. my fucking co-host because he's kind of different than me. He's a civilian, and then also, you know, he's doing his mindset in business and different things over there. So it's kind of puts a different, unique approach rather than me just getting fucking motarded with fucking too many military guys on here. But
for sure, but he kept the haircut.
What's that? Yeah, I made him. Yeah.
I get the fade, man.
Yeah, right.
I get the fade.
Rubbing off on him. But yeah, and then Andrew, I don't know.
Forrest Gump right now,
you probably heard some stories. I was with Stuck on recruiting duty and stuff like that, and this is pretty exciting for me because this Stuck is like one of my favorite people in the world, and it's one of those weird things that I usually hurt myself or whether it's swimming or some kind of weird shit. But we had a blast over there in Colorado when we were on recruiting duty. But I'm happy to have Stuck on this because out of all the people that I've met, and I know Andrew will say, how the fuck do you know all these people? Because I get these different guests on. Stuck is one of the most interesting people I've ever fucking met just because of his stories and his hobbies. So I'm super fucking excited to have him on. So thanks for making time. I know you're fucking, I know you're busy over there, but go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Absolutely. It's super cool to see you doing this and filling your time up with more things with your squirrel mind. My name is Richard Stuckenschneider. I'm a retired Marine. I retired last year, almost 18 months ago now. So super quick, retired as a Mass Sergeant and now living here in Phoenix, Arizona. So that's brings you up to date to where I'm at.
Hell yeah. What did you did what, 22 years?
I did 20 years in like 3 days or something.
All right. So you picked up Mass Sergeant fucking quick because I'm in zone right now for Mass Sergeant. I got it less than 2 years, but I think I'm pulling the chocks at 20. So I would have to extend, but hell yeah. So now that you're over there in Phoenix, what have you been up to, man? I know you say I'm squirrel minded, but you got just as many fucking hobbies as I do. So
Yeah, no, recently I met Renee, my fiance. She has this, she has a mobile grooming business. And when I had surgery, when we met, I had about 30 days off, and I went out to work with her, and I was like, holy crap, like I can totally do this. This is cool. We spent a couple of days together out in the vans, did my last year in the military. And then I talked to her. We went on a cruise. We were sitting at a bar, and we started going over numbers and the business, and basically asked if I could be a partner in the business. So I became a partner. Did my last year, kind of helped her oversee stuff. And, when I retired, I went full time as a pet groomer now, which is super wild. And then, my time is filled with the business and skydiving, and that pretty much fills my life.
Hell yeah.
That sounds pretty wild, man.
Yeah, just it's one of those things they teach in the military where it's you grow where you're planted, right? You kind of just go with the flow, and then wherever you end up, you try to excel in that position. And this is one of those things that popped up. I got planted here, and so now the goal is of course to grow as much as I can in this, and then as we find new stuff to do or grow or bloom where you're planted.
So how long have you been skydiving?
I started skydiving in 2019 when I first moved out here. It's a cool way to meet people and get myself out of the house on the weekends when I'm not recruiting.
So you skydive like every weekend, or is it like a few times a week? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so when I first started, it was almost every weekend. A couple years later now, I used to go, every other weekend, and now it's kind of slowing down to where, I try to go at least once a month, just keep your ratings current and go have fun,
Yeah, that sounds pretty wild, man. I've never been skydiving before. Yeah, I always wonder how that works.
Like you get in with a clique of people and you all like split the cost of the airplane ride, or like how does that work?
So
regularly.
Yeah, so your first time, you're going to go down, you're going to pay for a tandem. TI is going to take you up. They'll run you through a little quick class, put you on a plane, jump you out. Your second jump tandem, if you decide to go through like AFFI or AFF and get your license, your second jump is a tandem jump. And then your third jump, you're out by yourself with, your AFFIs on the outside holding you, and then you're on your own from that point, But basically, once you're a licensed diver, it's like, $30 a jump, plane empty or full, the plane's going.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. I don't know why I was thinking it'd be like $250 every time you get in the airplane or something.
Yeah, that's what your daughter needs is a fiber.
You want to hear this shit? You want to talk about a righteous dad? Bro, my kid's about to lose his shit. Here, take these and go poop. Dude, they're adults, and I gave her 2 of them, bro.
Oh my God.
Have fun, Jillian.
Bye-bye, little Jillian. Go
He
away.
likes to spice things up right before he walks out the door.
Bro,
Yeah.
wait till you meet my son. So my son's been fucking going nuts. You can hear him in the background a little bit, but he's in the crib and he like rips his pants off and shits all over the place, pisses and shit, dude. I'm like, and we took him out, we get him washed because he's got shit all over, right? So we wash him up, we put him on our bed, and then he fucking pukes all over my bed. I'm like, dude, it's terrible, man.
Yeah, it's your kid. That's
It's never too late to bring him to the fire station.
Dude, that's what about being a righteous dad's all about, man. It's like
that's hilarious. That's like the memories.
This one's a sweetheart. This is Stellaria. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing for the last couple of years. Just fucking changing diapers. I used to do fun stuff, and then you want to see him? Come here, buddy. Come here.
Yeah, I think the last thing we ended up doing together was installing a roof fan in your house in California.
Yeah.
It was
This
awful.
is say hi. Look at there you are right there. say, hi, you're live on like a million people. Well, like 60 people are going to see you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Over the course of history, then maybe a million people will see this.
Good night. I promise I'll come back with some good questions. Give me one second.
But no, I'm going back. You know, you're talking about, you know, a couple $100 per jump. That's 100% tandem prices. Once you're licensed, like $25 to $35, depending on where you go. So pretty affordable.
Well, yeah, that seems more reasonable. Like I always wonder how people made that out into a hobby. You know, like I always assumed it was just hundreds of dollars every time you jump. Like, how the hell do people make a hobby out of this? Like, because there's professional skydivers that jump, and they'll jump back to back to back to back, right? If the weather's nice.
Yeah.
They get in an airplane, they go up, jump, go down, get back in the airplane, and right? I mean, is that how people do it, or I don't know?
You want to see a quick video? Hold up, bro. Watch this shit real fast.
I'm not in that world. I need to learn about that lifestyle.
You guys,
This
so you guys that are listening, this is Stuck, and is that Renee next to you? 1 second, people might not be able to hear you. The video is pretty loud. Let's see if I can turn this down, maybe so it won't be at 100%. Check this one out. Okay, it might be a little bit better. Try talking real quick and see.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of back echo.
That one's pretty dope to fucking, he's like doing backflips.
That Skydive Phoenix down in Maricopa.
So I live right next to up to 76 and Old Grove Road. They have a skydiving place where the people are always jumping and shit. This one's pretty dope too. For those guys listening on Spotify, we're watching a couple of videos of Stuck jumping out of planes, doing crazy shit. I think he's about to take a shit right here on somebody.
Looking for a new car.
Hell yeah. He's like, oh fuck, oh fuck. He's sitting on the fucking toilet bowl. Oh, there he goes. So do you guys have like a predetermined thing that you guys are gonna like, hey, let's meet up, let's do some stuff? Do you guys do any rehearsals and shit?
Yeah, so you do like a dive and anything. Plan your jump on the ground. We'll plan we'll plan what we're going to do in the sky. You'll plan your break-off altitude, and then if we're going to do anything under a canopy together, we'll plan that, and then execute your jump just like scuba diving. Plan your dive your dive. Same thing.
So I know, like, I think Andrew was asking some questions about some of the tandem stuff. So you said you have to do like 6 or 7 tandems. Or do you just do basically like a training jacket curriculum and then kind of go through it? Or
so for licensing, you can do as many tandems as you want. Your first tandem that you're going to do, you're basically going to tell them, hey, I'm interested in doing an AFF course. Once you're signed up for the course, you're going to do your first tandem just to get kind of that first jump out of your system. Your second jump, you'll be tandem, but this time, you'll have an altimeter. You'll probably play with the steering lines a little bit on your canopy. After that second jump, you're going to go through like an 8-hour ground school, and they teach you about malfunctions altitude awareness and how to fly your body. Once you have that class done, you got 2 instructors that are holding on to you, and out the plane you go. You run through a couple of course curriculum things that you need to prove that you can do. Once you do that, they let you go. And the craziest thing is that first time you're under canopy by yourself. So there's nobody there. Once you throw that pilot chute out, you are by yourself, except with a radio. And so that's a little eye-opening for sure. And then you got, 7 more jumps that has a curriculum that you follow. And once you have those 7 jumps, you're basically cleared to jump by yourself without an instructor until you hit jump 25. Once you hit jump 25 and you take your written test, you can jump with other licensed jumpers. So it's step-by-step process.
So it's about a total of 25, you said? 25 jumps before you're like able to go solo?
No, so 25 jumps before you can jump with like your friends that want to go do crazy shit, right? So once you have 25 jumps and you pass your test, you can go jump with other licensed fun jumpers.
So for like, I know you did some scuba stuff, and I want to kind of rewind too in some of the stories, because throughout your whole time in the Marine Corps, you've got to do a lot of cool stuff, and I want to kind of shed some light on some of the cool shit. I mean, obviously in the background, you see the Marine Corps history in the background. I think that's one of the coolest things is every swinging dick from World War I think was in the Marine Corps, right?
Civil War.
That's fucking crazy. So, you look at that, and in the background, you see all, your family history, and then you see all the Eagle Globe and Anchor and all that kind of cool stuff. So, I mean, when you were growing up, have you always been like a thrill seeker and fucking like daredevil, crazy fucking guy, or what?
I didn't play sports growing up. I was a skateboarder, snowboarder, so probably a little bit of that adrenaline. But
so you had some fucking bleached hair.
I did, man. I did with like
so did I with the bowl cut, with the bowl cut and shit. Oh yeah, some frosted tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say frosted tips were the thing in the year 2000.
Oh yeah, some ramen noodle hair for sure.
Listening to Sublime and shit.
Yeah, no, it's always been those things that challenge you, that kind of push fear, is usually kind of what drew me to it. Break the barrier, do something crazy, and then I don't know, find something new to do or challenge that one. And it's been, this is the next evolution, right? You can't afford it when you're a kid, so skydiving is like, you got to be, I guess, financially secure.
What's funny is I know a lot of your history already, and I know, your fucking your dad and your brother and everybody else. Like, I kind of have a couple of funny stories of almost getting in a fight with your dad and shit. Over in fucking Denver by the bars. Like, I'll beat your fucking ass because dude asked him for a cigarette. Like,
no, that's a good story, man. That was a good story.
So here, I'll kind of tell it real quick. So here I am. I just check in on recruiting duty, and I meet this guy, Stuckenschneider, right? He's a staff sergeant, and I'm a sergeant. And I'm like, I think the first time I met you, and you're at the hotel, and you're just like, "What's up, man?" Fucking whatever. Right? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, this guy's kind of cool. But we end up going out. We go to the DoubleTree, and we stay at the hotel, and we get the cookies and stuff. And then he's like, "Hey, my dad lives in Aurora, Colorado, so we're gonna go out and get some drinks." So I'm like, all right. Mind you, I'm a sergeant. And he's a staff sergeant. So in a sense, he's kind of the boss. Like he's a staff NCO, I'm a sergeant, right? So we go out there, and his dad was in the Marine Corps and was on embassy duty, right? So it was an embassy Marine, met your mother, at the embassy or whatever. And she was from Thailand. Yeah. And so that's how, you could see him. He's got a German name, like but he looks like, but he's good at math.
That's right.
So we go out, and I meet his dad, and his dad's fucking blonde hair, badass fucking Marine, right? Like white guy. I'm like, how the fuck is that's your dad? And he's like, yeah. And this is the first time I think you went out in flip flops or something, because this is how you roll and shit. So we go to this bar, and we're having a drink. And I remember sitting down, and I'm sitting there, and across from me is his dad, and then Richard's like on the left side of him, and then there's this like big glass, like it was like a glass wall or something.
Fence.
So these gangbangers or whatever, Mexican gangbangers, come out, and they start kind of saying stuff in the background, and they kind of walk up to us, and they see me. I'm wearing a USMC fight fight team t-shirt or something because I was training. This is before I even got into mixed martial arts, but I could still fight. I mean, I've been training for like 5 years at that time. So this guy comes up and he's like, hua, hua. And the one guy's like, no, it's ura. And they're like arguing behind us. And I'm kind of like, for us, that fucking is annoying, right? For Marines, it's like, just shut the fuck up. You're a civilian. You know what I mean? Why are you saying anything? So he goes to Stuck's dad. He's like, what is it? Is it hua or is it ura? And his dad is like this with like a cigarette, like legs crossed. He's like, it's all beat your fucking ass. Right?
Oh my God, here we go. Like I can't.
No,
go
you weren't like that. You were like this. You started getting all happy and shit. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and the guy's right next to me. He's on my left. And I'm kind of looking at him because he's reaching his hand in his pocket. I'm like, I'm just thinking fucking McMap. I'm just going to grab his wrist and rip it off. And I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? Oh my God, we're about to get in a fight with fucking.
I'm pretty sure you're grabbing your beer bottle, about to like smash it on the table.
And I'm like, fucking, all right. And he's like, the guy's like, what'd you say, old man? And he's like, he's with a cigarette. He's like, you heard me. It's I'll beat your fucking ass. And I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. And I'm like, oh shit. And then a couple of other people are kind of like looking around and stuff too. And this guy's like basically getting punked. And he's like, he said something, but he ends up kind of going away. And then the other guy's like, asks your dad for a cigarette. He's like, hey, can I get a cigarette? He's like, your dad's like, are you fucking serious? And he pulls out a cigarette and he gives it to him. And the guy grabs a cigarette and he's like, can I get it? Can I get a lighter? And your dad's like, you want me to fucking smoke it or some shit? I was just like, dude, it was so funny. But I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, here we go. I'm about to get in a fight. I'm about to get in trouble with my boss. Fuck it. It was like my second day there. And I'm like, holy shit. But that's how I met the Stuckenschneiders. And I have other stories of going out with Thomas, out to eat too. Thomas and Candace out to one of the steakhouses. What is it? The fuck was it, man? Yeah, but
the one in Junction.
Yeah, so basically the Stuckenschneiders were pretty crazy, man. Like all of them, even your brother's wife Candace was a drill instructor.
Yeah.
Your brother was a drill instructor, right?
Yeah.
When you went to boot camp.
No. He was a drill instructor when I was in Japan, so like 2005, 6, 7, I think.
I thought he came in and visited you and fucking, or did he have friends fuck with you? Or
no,
something
he had
like
friends because he's an ass.
So what was awesome is I got to work for Stuck, and then when he was running the station, he had all those pictures that you see in the background. So like when people would come in to join the Marine Corps, I mean, they would walk into it and they would see like that history, and it was pretty badass, man. So, but I know you joined the Marine Corps. So what, in 2002?
2001. Well, I joined the delayed entry program 2000, and then graduated June 3rd, 2001. Was in boot camp June 4th, 2001. That next day.
And then as a Lance Corporal, you were a McQuist instructor. Yeah,
I did the McQuist course in 2003 as a Lance Corporal, which was insane. Insane course. There's no Lance Corporals in that course at all. It's all corporals and sergeants, and that attrition rate in that school, I think, is at that time is probably around 70%. And I was like, I can't do this. That course was brutal. I don't think I got into a pool for like 2-3 months after that course happened, just because of the amount of time you spent in the water.
So those that are listening, it's a Marine Corps water survival instructor trainer, right? So it's basically the hardest course, probably the hardest school in the Marine Corps, maybe besides maybe like, I don't know, sniper school or something. I don't know what you would.
It's to. For the density of time that school is incredibly physically demanding. As far as the hardest school, it's probably not. But when you talk about condensed time and the amount of, the amount of distances that you have to swim and the coursework that you have to do and the American Red Cross work you have to do, it is a very high paced course and physically just brutal.
I heard now the intro courses, the 2-week prep is harder than probably the actual course just to get you ready, because I think you're in the pool. And I got a story on that. So on recruiting duty, I thought I knew how to swim, right? You join the Marine Corps and you go through swim training and all that, but I'm coming from Minnesota, so it's like I didn't have money, so I didn't swim a lot. So I didn't really swim. I'm more like fucking surviving. So we used to go out to the pool. We'd go eat chicken wings at a place called Roosters. And Gunny Wall, if you're watching this, Gunny Wall, we'd get a bunch of these fucking wings, and then we'd go to the pool afterwards and just get murdered by this guy. So we'd jump in there, we'd do like 25-meter swims and do some workouts and U-boats and drags and all these things. And we'd tread water. Mind you, I've never treaded water for more than 5 minutes before this. But here I am in Mesa University's college pool, and I'm like, we're swimming. And I don't even think I was doing this. I think I'm like
just dying.
just moving all over. And these little girls come up and they're like, who's making all these waves? And like, so they start making fun of me and laughing and shit. So basically Stuck had to teach me how to swim, how to tread, how to like, no shit, like swim, like had me standing up there, bending over, doing funny stuff. So like, it was awesome. But after that, I think, I mean, we do a sprint triathlon.
Yeah, Walmart bikes for PT.
So put it this way. So Stuck, and then after, so you did McQuist.
Yeah.
But then you're also on the Marine Corps shooting team, right?
Yeah, I did that for a few years, and that was super cool.
So the guy can shoot, he can swim, he can jump out of a plane. But also you did scuba diving stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought you were going with that Mesa story, because that was one of the first times we met. Is you're in the shower, and that's why I was like, at the beginning.
Oh yeah, he's like. For those of you guys that are listening, I'm doing that's my dirty white boy dance, and that's the funny thing. So here I am, I'm in Mesa University, and yeah, so this shows you what kind of goofball this guy is, dude. So I get murdered on swimming, and all of a sudden I'm taking a shower by myself, and I turn around, and he's like right behind me doing the dirty white boy dance.
They're like they're small stalls too. Like it was very.
So what was it like? My second MMA fight in Montrose, I walk out and I walk right up to the cage and I look at him and I'm like, I start doing this white boy dance, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Now 13 years later, still doing it.
Hell yeah. So you have some crazy stories about scuba diving too, because I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you're doing all the skydiving stuff and the hobbies like that, and how every one of those things kind of probably help you with crushing the curriculum, breaking it down, figuring out things that you need to do to get good at, and just breaking it up into chunks. Because I know you had an open water story or whatever where you got into a master class or something like that for scuba diving on accident.
Yeah, so this was 2002. It was probably 2002, 2003. I signed up for my first open water certification, and I did it in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I ended up going to this place called Diving Dogs, and they ended up, did my coursework there, and he said, "Hey, you got to do this open water thing. I'm going to send you to this lake. Head out there. You'll meet some other students out there. They're going to do their open water survival." So out in the middle of nowhere, this tiny rock quarry lake, I show up that night and all the people are sitting around the campfire, and I introduce myself and they're like, "Cool, you're here for the course." I was like, "Absolutely." So we sit down, they're like, "Hey, you're going to do the first dive in the morning." And they're like, "Here's the curriculum. Here's this. I need you to plan your dive. I need you to set up your rescue divers. I need you to get all the dive tables set up." I mean, just the whole gambit of stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of stuff that I got to do. So I'm up all night in my tent, just getting everybody's dive tables, getting the water temperature, finding the rescue divers, looking at their rescue dive curriculum that they're going to run through. And so we go out that morning, and I have to brief the dive group on the dive. So we do the brief, we go out, we get underwater, and I start running this curriculum, right? Just everything. And then they're having me do these rescues underwater. And I'm like, this is an insane open water course. This is crazy. So I finished the dive. We come back and we got to do this debrief on the open water dive. And so I sit up and they're like, "Hey, what's this? And I was like, I got a question. I don't know. This was years ago. I was like, "I don't know what this is." And they're like, "How do you not know what this is? This is for your dive master cert." And I'm like, I am here for my open water certification. I need my open water dive to just do a buoyancy check and make sure they don't die underwater. And they're like, "Shut up. We just ran you through all this crazy shit. You're this new diver with no open water shit." Yeah. It was awful. I was like, this is super intense.
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, but that was my very first open water dive, was running dive master students through their first dive of the freaking weekend.
It's crazy. Have you watched that 13 Lives on Netflix of the Thai?
The Thai
kids or
kids?
whatever?
No.
That's fucking crazy, man. That made me think of you.
Which part?
both. Like the Thai fucking Navy SEALs come in and shit. It was pretty crazy. It's a good movie. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but I think it was like 13 Thai kids get fucking trapped.
It's like a soccer team or something, right?
Yeah, it's a soccer team. They go in to the caves, and the caves get flooded, and they put these motherfucking kids down like anesthesia to get them out. Like fucking nuts. They have to, because they're there for like days, and they can't even get, like, the Navy SEALs had a hard time, because if you think of confined space and going into like caves, like exploring caves, you know how those people are crazy that you have to have a mental fucking resiliency just to not lose your shit just when you have air. But these people are doing it with scuba diving, right? So a couple of guys, the best divers, come, and so the Navy SEALs are having a hard time doing that because they're breathing, because if they're freaking out, they're breathing all the air. So they take these kids and they fucking put them in anesthetize? I don't know if that's the right word, but they use anesthesia to put them out, like if they were doing surgery, wrapping them up. They fucking tie them up, wrap them up, and they're like dragging them out. Like, it's fucking crazy.
I was wondering why like 13 soccer players were in a cave. I was like, how the hell did they end up there?
Yeah,
I think so the opening to the cave, I think, is open, and
it's open. Yeah, they crawled in there
out or something like that.
Yep. But then all of a sudden, like, it started, a storm came, and the storm just like stopped. They blocked their access to get out, and then it just kept filling up, and they were stuck in there. They were trapped.
And I think like nobody even knew they were in there or something.
Dude, it's unfucking believable. I think it's on Netflix or either that or Amazon, but I think Amazon. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos, if you're listening to this, for charging so much money for your. I think he sold.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football. Bye.
Do they have did they depict Elon Musk in that movie arguing with the diver? You remember that? He was like, Elon Musk. So like when that happened, this just happened like 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's pretty recent, I think.
So Elon Musk was trying to develop like this little scuba. It was like a miniature
submarine or something.
Submarine to save these kids, and like one of the master divers that was there, he like was talking crap about Elon Musk, and Elon Musk said, whatever, pedo guy, calling him a pedophile. and the guy's like suing, like he sued Elon Musk for like $40 million or something crazy.
That's
like that.
Nothing for Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's like, okay, whatever, peasant.
Yeah, he's like, whatever, pedo guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. But I thought about you about the scuba diving stuff, and because your Thai heritage, so I know you got to have some fun in Thailand. You still get to go visit? I know it was
I haven't been back to Thailand since I was like 17.
Yeah,
I haven't gone back to my roots in a long time.
Manny Pac. Well, that's different, right? Manny Pacquiao. I was going to say,
Philippines.
If I was skydiving,
thanks Ethan Hawke.
If I was skydiving, I could tell you from just your calves. Like, this dude has the biggest and most beautiful calves on any man.
He's got those Asian calves.
Bro, we were doing a sprint triathlon, and I think you were on a 10-speed, and I was on a road bike. And I'm like, I'm trying to catch up because the fucking stupid bitch made me do like 13 laps or whatever. Remember?
Yeah, she messed up.
And I got up and I yelled at her. This stupid high school cheerleader was supposed to be counting my laps on this triathlon. And I get up in the middle of everybody, and I start yelling. And I have like these kid shark goggles with tridents on them.
I forgot it. That's right.
They're like 6-year-old fucking glasses. Yeah, but I caught up to him. I knew it was him because of his calves. So his calves are like fucking huge, man. Like I have these little chopsticks and shit, but his calves are fucking. They're like Thai calves. I don't know if it's from Thailand or Philippines or Oh, you guys down there have fucking beautiful legs.
Yeah, Asian calves are a thing. That's a real thing. Asian calves, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, guy. I've got like pencil stick legs, man. I work my calf muscles out like twice a week, and I still have freaking.
It's genetic.
Legs.
It is all genetics. Like I don't do anything.
Have you ever seen John Jones from the UFC? I got like cocaine addict calves, like he does, like fucking, like just the smallest little baby calves, bro. Like it's pretty funny. Even the guys I work with now are making fun of me and shit. I'm like, fuck you guys, man. Because if you think about it, right? Because you're taking those dick pills, Andrew. So you might as well just listen to this real quick. Size is all relative in your surroundings, right? So as long as you skip leg day, I'm good, bro. Like all day long. You know what I mean? Like that's a dick joke. You're supposed to laugh at that.
Yeah, man. I was freaking working. I was doing arms yesterday, and like I felt like this guy like sized me. You know, these guys size each other up in the gym all the time, and I'm you don't agree.
No.
No, guys size each other up all the time. And I was working my arms out.
You guys in the shower?
Yeah. I was at the end of my workout. And I had like the pump and I was wearing shorts and I did these freaking chicken legs. And I saw the guy like out the corner of my eye, I saw him, he was like looking, he's like, yeah, I could tell he was thinking like, hey, you skipped leg day. Like, no, I didn't, bitch. I did legs twice this week. I just have chicken legs. So there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about hobbies too. So I'm right on the cusp of getting out. When you got out, so when you transitioned, so I mean, you knew you were going to be a Marine. You wanted to join the Air Force, I think, first, right?
Yeah.
So you wanted to fly because I know you did some JROTC stuff, and you did like a pre-pilot thing, and you flew gliders and stuff like that too, right? So this is what I'm talking about, Andrew. And you talk about the most interesting man in the world. He's done a lot of shit. So you wanted to be a pilot in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then you end up joining the Marine Corps, did avionics, right? High level avionics. And then, so you get out of the Marine Corps. What was your transition like? Like, did you have, you got a lot of hobbies and stuff, but I know a lot of service members, I think they get out and then they start kind of having some identity crisis. What was that like?
I see people like that, right? That are so attached to the identity of service that they kind of lose, I guess who they are. I didn't attach myself that way to the Marine Corps. So maybe it helped me transition a whole lot better because my identity is not me, the Marine. It's me. This is my job. It's what I do for a living. And then when that was over, like that's it. And then it just, the transition, I mean, it was different. Don't get me wrong. It's very different after 20 years in the service, but I went to work the next week, just right into it. So, you have that period probably after, 6 months, 8 months, the honeymoon period it wears off. And now you're sitting there saying, did I make the right decision? Am I in the right place? You see, because all your friends are still in, so you talk to them. And so you kind of have that period of time where you just kind of second guess it. And then you get over that pretty quick after you see all the dumb crap again, right? And then you just surround yourself with the Marines, so you never lose the camaraderie that you miss. You're just not wearing a uniform anymore. So,
I kind of wrapped myself into MVP. I don't know if you've seen the first episode with Doc Soto, My Veteran Passion, but I thought that was a stuffed animal, like a stuffed like taxidermy.
I was like, where did you come from? This is Wrigley.
What's up, buddy?
He's got a little monkey.
So
those guys listening, a golden retriever just stuck his head right into the camera.
Just random.
I thought he was about to get attacked for a second. He's like, play with me, mom.
I was trying to figure out what my brain could not figure that out.
What the hell was that?
Bro, it came in so weird. Like it came in like it was fake. It came in like, you know what I mean?
I'm like, oh, we're doing a fucking puppet show. Okay.
Starts coming in here with puppets. So
I
he
should
gives him
have.
a quiz. He was a scuba diver. He does puppets.
Yeah.
This is how I get the dogs to stand still for a second while I shave their balls and their under regions. I think we broke Andrew for a second.
Oh man.
Sorry, I needed to compose myself for a
Late night
second.
puppet show.
Yeah, I think it's important to have hobbies, man. And I have a lot of hobbies, and okay, there it goes. This bitch has a giraffe. It's my cat. Yeah, I'm not.
Sorry, sorry, I couldn't help myself. I had to do it.
Brian's looking for something now. He's like, what the hell can I watch on the screen?
So here you go.
Yeah.
Is that a pug?
I'm sitting here. I'm like, man, what the hell are we going to talk about on this podcast? And here we are with
people that are listening are probably like, what are they talking about? That's why you go on YouTube, not Spotify. But
so Stuck, he's going back a little bit. You said that you got in June of 2001.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
So that was pre 9/11, right?
Yeah,
what was that like going for? Because I know, like, Brian, when did you get in? You were
2004.
Yeah.
2004.
So Brian was ready to like go murder some people, right? Like when you got in, we're in a period of like not much going on.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was a bunch of non-action happening for like a good 10 years almost.
Yeah, I mean
all the way back to Desert Storm. So like, what was the mindset, the atmosphere like when you got in? Like you got in, you got in, all of a sudden it's fucking the world changed like 2 months later, right?
Yeah. So
tell me about that.
I graduated boot camp in August, and then I took my leave, came back to Colorado, and then my brother came out and took leave with us. So we ended up driving back to Colorado. Because we drove, our flights didn't get canceled because I was able to make it back to California. I stayed at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar because I was going to check into MCT on September 11th. So that morning I wake up, we're supposed to be checking in, and these alarms on base are just going crazy. Super early in the morning, and I was like, what the hell is that? And we turn on the TV, and like the first building was already on fire, and I'm watching it, and these alarms are going off on base, and we see the second plane hit, and my brother's like, fuck, I gotta go. He ends up trying to figure out how we're going to get on base because they ended up securing the base, and then I ended up getting on and checking into MCT, and there was 20 of us maybe, and there's usually 120 kids per MCT platoon. And
so MCT is Marine Combat Training. So he's still going to infantry school because every Marine is trained to be, to fill a rifleman position.
Yeah. And I mean, the realism from boot camp, because you think you're just, it's boot camp, it's 3 months and you leave. Well, now you're checking into, a school for warfighters, right? And we're going to war, right? Like it was the attitudes changed. You could see it in the young Marines' faces. They were like, what the hell am I doing? Like, we're going to war. And it was a very, very surreal moment because I'd been in the Marine Corps now for 4 months. And then, we were at war my entire career. And that's how it started. Day one, MCT, September 11th.
That's wild. Because you were literally there from the beginning of the war. And when did you get out?
I got out in March of 2021.
Wow. So yeah, you saw the whole war from beginning to end. That's insane.
Yeah.
With your whole career.
Well, what's crazy too is if it would have happened previous, you might have had a different job, most likely. I mean, you might have decided to go into infantry, rather than the aviation route.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hear, I listen to the Jocko podcast, and he talked about it because he signed up in like 89 or something like that, right? And there was I'm sorry. He signed up
like 91 or something.
91, right? Yeah, because it was during Desert Storm. I think he got in like right when Desert Storm was ending, and so it was just like nothing for a whole decade. And then 9/11 happened, and then it's like he said they did more operations in a week than he did in the whole previous 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And I remember
that's history, right? It's almost every 10 years, right? A conflict ends, a conflict begins. And if you go back and look at that, it is almost every 10 years throughout our history where we're at conflict with somebody, and there's very small, brief periods of peace. And then that 10-year mark, something happens, and here we go again, you know. So just 20 years of that. So my prediction, 2034 probably.
Yeah, what's crazy too is like when I came in, it was kind of the same thing. I thought there's no way I'm going to go get deployed. I'm aviation. I'm going to be safe. And then I check in and I check into my CO, and my CO, my commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel, previous deployment got shot in the face with an AK round that bounced off a SAPI plate, CH-46s. So we're a CASEVAC unit, casualty evacuation unit. So he flew in and got some infantry out, and they got small arms fire, and the rounds came through and bounced off. So he's got this huge scar on the side of his face, right? And I'm like checking in as this little Lance Corporal, like, I'm going to die. I'm like, you're the CO. They're supposed to protect you. You got your chin blown off. He's like, you ready to dodge mortars and stuff? I'm like, so I had to give my daughter a kiss. She's over here.
Creeping in on the side camera too.
Yeah, I'm talking about chins blowing off the side of the face. She's gonna be a Marine right there. She's gonna probably fight. But yeah, it was like I checked in on April 1st, and people were messing with me, and I'm like, what the hell, man? An IPAC. And yeah, first 3 months I was already getting deployed and did a couple deployments with them. So you went through the deployment cycle, right? You went to Japan.
Yeah.
You've been through the whole gambit. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to be with 20 years of the same op tempo. But I think it probably went by faster for us. I mean, probably what kept us in too.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what kept me in. It was one of those, well, I'll do another and see what happens. And then you hit that period of, that 10, 12-year mark where you're like, well, it's like you're in now. Like there's no going back after that 12-year mark. So unless you're my brother and he got out, around that mark.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of your brother, so is he over there? Is he with you right now?
No.
I thought he was going to come in. I thought he was going to walk up with his ass or something behind your shoulder. Because I remember we were at the recruiting station. He'd come in and he became a sheriff. So this guy came in and he's like, man, is there any police in here? He's like, oh, if I would have known this, I would have been a sheriff. I wouldn't have joined the Marine Corps. He loves it so much. But that guy's Thomas, I know he's doing some badass shit out there in Colorado. I know he's got a couple of awards for heroism, and I think he jumped because he was a McQuist and stuff too, right?
He was. So he was a McQuist. I was a McQuist, and then we went through the McQuist IT course on different coasts, not knowing each other was going through the same course on different coasts at the same time, which was super crazy because that's such a small group of people that become ITs.
So I know there was an incident, I think, that happened in Colorado where a car went into the river or something like that, right? And didn't.
I think it was a suicide attempt. I think she jumped in.
Okay.
And I don't remember what month. It was cold, right? So basically, if he doesn't go in, they're not going to go in until the fire department gets there or everything's safe. But he knew if he jumped in to go get her because there was a law enforcement officer in the water, like it is going to be expedited. And so he jumps in, it's freezing, and the lady's like fighting him off because, she wants to die. She's pissed at him for saving him, and he's like going hypothermic, and it was pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think I got to be there. It was an honor to be there for his graduation in the academy and everything. And he won everything, I think, besides one thing or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
Marine, yeah, something. But I was like, oh, hell yeah. So it was awesome to be able to be there on recruiting duty and get to meet your brother as well and your dad and everybody else. You can hear my life. Don't have kids.
I don't.
Speaking of which, any plans in the future or what? I know.
we pulled the goalie a while ago, so now it's up in the air. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Goalie's gone.
What the hell? What's the goalie? And wouldn't that be called the net? Are you pulling your own goalie?
No. She's off the pill,
I'm
so
just
we pulled the
joking.
goalie. The
He's a
goalie.
Got it. I never heard that expression before.
I thought he called his dick the goalie.
Yeah, I was like, what appendage is the goalie? Like,
Short,
Yeah,
short,
yeah.
short
like,
and
is the
fat.
goalie- is that her other boyfriend? Or is he like in
Yeah. Over there.
The hockey mask.
what,
Throw some big ass shin guards and shit.
what kind of cuckoldry is going on here?
Icing.
So what's your future plans for the skydiving stuff? Are you thinking about doing some craziness with squirrel suits? Because I know you said you just came back from, one of your buddies passing, which I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah.
I think you guys you have some buddies, I'm sure you meet some crazy guys that are pushing the envelope when it comes to, squirrel suit jumping and all that kind of stuff. So have you been getting into any of that kind of stuff or windsuits?
Yeah, so my plan is this fall, probably somewhere around December, January, is to take the first flight course for your wingsuits, because I definitely want to try that. And so the big things for this fall are jumping out of an air balloon, jumping out of a helicopter, and wingsuits. That's next.
So does that come that you mentioned that comes with its own like slew of certifications, or like how does that work?
So in order to even put one on, right, and go to a drop zone, the minimum requirement's 200 jumps, like 200 free fall skydives. Once you have your 200, then you can sign up for, your first flight course and go through the school. An instructor for a wingsuit will take you up. They'll do your ground school, and then I assume you chuck your ass out of an airplane and figure it out, in free fall.
Oh, that's pretty wild, man. And so those wingsuits, they inflate themselves like when you're going, right? It kind of like creates like a structure.
Yeah, they are fully pressurized suits. So once that air hits it, they turn into a big wing, so it is a fully pressurized suit.
Yeah, I've seen some wild videos of those guys, like the guys that go through like the mountain ranges and all that crazy stuff. I mean, like what level do you have to be on like to get to that? I mean, it's 200 jumps just to get the suit on.
Well, and I'm talking 200 skydives to put a suit skydiving. The stuff you're talking about is like proximity flying, and that's base jumping. And those guys are years of experience before they're proximity flying into a mountain. That's not on my radar at all.
Yeah, that's what your buddy. He
was a base jumper. Yeah,
that stuff is kind of. So you hear that? I know it's like skydiving because I know, Stuck, you were like, man, you should do it. And I'm like, I got kids, and then I look at the statistics, and there's like 13 people in a year die from skydiving, maybe in the whole world. You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, I just lost a couple of buddies. And I guess skydiving is probably a different statistic than base jumping. Base jumping probably has a little bit more when it comes to the wind shifts and different things that happen. You just don't have any time to react, right?
Well, there's no your base rig, right? Your parachute. There's no reserve, right? You get it right the first time. You pack it right, you pack it correct. You have an on heading opening. There's no error. Skydiving, the chance to have a malfunction is huge. The chance to have two malfunctions from a certified reserve is even bigger. So, people are worried about skydiving. That's probably the safest thing you could possibly do, just because the numbers are there for you. You get behind the wheel of a car, you have more chance of dying, and you're going to hear that every drop zone you go to. Oh, it's safer. It's more dangerous driving to the drop zone than it is jumping. And it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still a little like,
I'll come out.
I'll get into a cage. What's that?
I said, I'll come out there. I'll drag you out there.
Fuck, I might be moving over towards your neck of the woods. Phoenix is probably a good place. I know there's probably a lot of jobs and stuff out there, right? For, prior military and veterans out there in Phoenix.
Oh, it is growing. I mean, Phoenix is growing. That whole west side of the valley is just absolutely exploding over there. So, the ability for you to get a job out here, anybody in microchips, they're building a huge plant out here. You got Raytheon, you got Lockheed out here. Like, you got everything that you could want for your line of work is out here. I don't think you'd have a problem at all.
And what are the benefits for Arizona too? I know some veterans are probably listening too. So I know you have their income, like your retirement's not taxed, right? Things like that.
I should know that because I'm retired here in the state. I'm retired in Arizona.
He probably doesn't care. He's like, I make good money. I don't give a shit.
Honest, like I don't think my retirement income is taxed. I do know that if you're below a certain threshold for your income, you don't pay property taxes. But Arizona is probably not. It doesn't have the best. I'll tell you that. For as far as veterans and benefits, but it's not bad.
What would be the best? Probably Florida or Texas.
Or Texas, yeah. Texas.
I know a lot of people are going out there to Texas and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, because I think Texas, California, Florida, I think their kids go to school for free if you're 100% disabled.
California is the same way.
Yeah.
University, I think state university like Cal State, San Marcos or something, you could go as long as you're paid for. So that's pretty cool. But I can't do California anymore. I'm just ready to go.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's very expensive over here, but I heard that they're going to increase BAH supposedly, but I don't know if it's going to be until, if it's going to stay to 2023 or not. So we'll see how that goes. But with the political structure and everything that's going on too, things can always change. But so when's the wedding?
Next September. So September 30th next year, I'll be a married man. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
I congratulate you guys. I know I seen you in Greece where you guys almost fell off of the boat when you proposed, but can Renee swim? It's Renee, right?
Yeah, Renee.
Can she swim?
She can swim. Yeah, she can swim. She's not. I'm trying to get her to go scuba diving. Hopefully she's hearing me. I'm working on it.
So what would you say is more dangerous, scuba diving or skydiving?
Probably scuba diving. Scuba diving. I think it's easier to get complacent scuba diving than it is to get complacent skydiving. Skydiving is very quick.
You're like, oh fuck the whole time.
Yeah, and then scuba diving, you're down there for a while, so of course there's more. It's calm down there. It's very serene. So complacency will get you in scuba diving long before complacency will get you in skydiving.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to be complacent when you're jumping out of an airplane, right?
You got 60 seconds of falling. If it doesn't open up, it's not your problem.
So are you still doing some shooting stuff? I know you had. So the cool thing is with Stuck is he's a collector of a lot of really cool, military memorabilia, and I got to shoot the M1A1 Grand, which was fucking badass over there in Colorado. And for those of you guys listening and don't know what the M1A1 Grand is, if you ever played like Call of Duty of like World War II, it's like the bigger, what is it, a 308?
It's a 30 cal. I believe it is
Winchester or some 308 Winchester or something like that. But it's basically a fucking nail driver. Like I wouldn't want to carry that thing anywhere, but when I hit that little bandolier, what do you call it? Bandolier? It's like
the bandolier, yeah.
A bandolier. It's fucking badass. So
this is like
it's an N block. That's what it's called. An
N block.
It's like a World War II gun, right?
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
so he bought one of those and fucking, he's got all kinds of cool shit. He got a Mac 10 and fucking all kinds of cool guns and shit. And I remember driving on the truck and had my Glock and almost got to shoot that bird. I almost got it when we were
almost, yeah.
Because Colorado's pretty cool. You can go out to like government land or whatever, right? Federal land or whatever, BLM. Whatever you want to call them, BLM. I don't want to say BLM because people might fucking think it's something else when I'm
the Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah, there you go. So, but we got to go out there and have some fun and go shooting and stuff. But are you still doing that? Is that something you're still into or no?
I still have it. It's one of those things like I need another hobby, like I need a hole in my head. So it's on the back burner. I do want to get back into competitive shooting, but it's been years. It's been years.
Yeah, my dream is to come out there and like maybe Prescott to go work for Ruger or something. I just want to go to a place where I can get up, have my coffee, walk outside to my car and grab a hatchet and fucking throw it into a log, or grab like my fucking bow and like hit my archery block and not worry about hitting my neighbor's garage or some shit. You know what I mean? So that would be fucking dope. But so I'm looking forward to Arizona
I'm
because you
I'm
guys
just
can go out.
picturing Brian walking to his car, throwing a hatchet, getting in, taking a sip of his coffee, pulling off, going to work,
It's gonna be fucking 35
shooting his
minutes of
gun
me
out the
fucking
window on the way there.
Yeah.
35 minutes of me trying to fucking get it to stick in the fucking thing. Like I'm late to work. Doom, doom. Jillian's like, what the fuck? Just go to work. Kind of like Jason Momoa or whatever, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like get up and fucking throw a spear. Fucking.
Yeah, we're waiting for you, man. I think it'd be fun if you came out here. Lots of trouble to cause.
What part of
Oh, yeah.
Arizona are you in?
We're in Mesa, so like the west or the East Valley.
Got it. I've never made it out to Arizona. I was supposed to go out there a few years ago, and I ended up going to San Diego instead. And I flew over you guys.
It's hot.
Yeah,
It
we
looked
just
hot.
left. We just left the in-laws' house. It was pretty. It was nice. Yeah, and Prescott's nice, but the elevation.
Yeah, when you go up north, like Prescott, Flagstaff, Sedona, like it's super. The weather's great. And then you get down towards the Phoenix area, Yuma, Mesa. Yeah, it's all hot here.
Yeah, my wife's best friend, friend of ours, Nicole, she's out there in Phoenix too, and she said there's a lot of good things. So I mean, I think it's probably a better canopy as far as getting a job. Find, like you said, Raytheon or Lockheed or somewhere else. So, and that's for us an hour and a half away from Jillian's parents. So it's probably something we're going to be doing. So you might see some videos of me skydiving. I know Jillian doesn't want me to do it, but if I do that, you got to do a cage fight. So that's just part of it, part of the deal, man. But you're probably like, okay.
I mean, I guess I'll go in and get punched up a little bit.
I'll fight in flip-flops. I don't give a shit.
You got to get him into doing jiu-jitsu, man.
So last time I seen you too, I know you were helping me install a ceiling fan, but I know you still had that Stuckenschneider tattoo on the back.
Yeah.
You never wear underwear. You got any more tattoos? Did you go hardcore with any tattoos?
No, I didn't, but it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Getting a sleeve and shit, or
because as soon as I got out, they said you can have sleeves now. So a bunch of my friends went out. Like as soon as that was cleared, they're out there. All these mass arms running around with sleeves now.
Yeah, I see junior Marines with like just all colored arm. Like it's not even a tattoo. It's just like all black. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did you get that you like? It must have been the first wife's name or something. You know how it is in the Marine Corps. So, but yeah, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I mean, if you have any other closing words, any recommendations for any veterans that are about to transition.
That's a good one. Everything that you can possibly do to maintain connections to the military, like make an effort to stay involved with it, because you might not wear the uniform anymore, but it doesn't mean you don't have to separate yourself from that lifestyle and the people. And so you make time to be a part of that community. It's helped me. That's what I want to do any piece that I can stay with the Marine Corps is going to be great, whether it's volunteer work or going to retirement ceremonies or balls or events to help them out. Like, do it, stay involved. It helps with the transition, and make sure you take care of your medical stuff. When you get out, don't wait, get on it, take care of your medical stuff.
Yeah. If you guys don't know or haven't heard already, but My Veteran Passion, it's a nonprofit organization started by Doc Soto, who's a Navy corpsman. And you can find us on Discord and myveteranpassion.org. But we're trying to keep not just veterans, but veteran supporters basically in the community, and trying to talk about mental health and suicide awareness through virtual platforms. They do gym affiliations, they do workouts. And we also every Saturday have a thing called the Salty Sailor Talk, where we get on Discord, which you can have on your phone, computer, anything like that. And we actually have a VA peer support specialist. And we come in and we talk about things. I think the last time was resolving conflict. You know what I mean? So we all resolve conflict and different things. Because I know there was just a shooting in one of the universities recently too. And we had some people in MVP, I think, were kind of associated with that and kind of affected by that. But like Stuck said, remaining in contact with those brothers and sisters. And it's not just for veterans, but it's for veteran supporters. Sometimes you have family members that might have PTSD. They might have issues with mental health. And it's a good way to reach out. We have about 600 plus people that are active part of the Discord, but there's all kinds of, nonprofit organizations and veterans organizations that look to help veterans stay connected. So if you know somebody, please reach out, let them know about MVP. I don't know if you have Discord stuck, but it'd be cool to have you on. And that way you can just be, an advocate for people that might be struggling. You might not want to go on the Salty Sailor Talk and talk about things, but it's good to have that in your back pocket as a tool in case you know somebody. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we always talk about this on the Righteous Dad podcast, because this is why we wanted to do it. Me and Andrew wanted to talk about in books people that have inspiring stories like yourself, that have awesome hobbies that are crushing life, even though they got out of service for 20 years. You don't let those things that may have affected you in the past bring you down. There's always going to be, no matter what, where we are in the military or not, things that are going to cause depression. We have people that pass. Life is not always easy, but it's good to have friends, and it's good to have hobbies that continue to make you grow and push you outside of your comfort zone. Stuck was one of those guys. I think if we went to a bar right now, I mean, it would be like we'd seen each other yesterday. You know what I mean? I'd probably do some stupid shit, and we'd be laughing. And that's part of that brotherhood that you have to continue. But it takes people to reach out and call and say, "What's up?" You know what I mean? Like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Or if, it only takes 1 second to call your brother that you could save their life. You know what I mean? If they're having issues. So what else you got?
One of the super cool things about the skydiving community is there is a ton of military veterans there. And this special group of people have the biggest thirst for life that you could possibly imagine. They live the days, they go on adventures, but this group is super tight. And if they don't know what to do, or they're looking for an avenue where they want to be around people, right, that are like-minded, that want adventure, but are truly just wonderful people, like the skydiving community can fill that for a lot of veterans, and maybe they never looked into that avenue. But it can save people as much as the next thing. So if you've never done it, go to a drop zone, ask about the AFF course and meet the people there. It'll change your world.
Yeah, I was reading a book. It's called Lost Connections. It's about depression. And they did some studies on people, and definitely guys. Back in 2004, they asked, how many friends do you have that you could like really rely on, that you could trust, you know what I mean, that would have your back. And in 2004, I think the average was like 2 or 3. And then they asked in like 2019, and it was like 0. You know what I mean? So it shows you like the people's willingness to have social groups or friends, right? Like friends, you have friends and people that you're affiliate with, but people that are like, no shit, that dude would have my back. If we're about to get in a fight, flip-flops or not, that dude's kicking somebody in the fucking teeth. You know what I mean? Like, so it's important. And I think for those of you guys that are transitioning, take it, take Stuck's word of advice. You need to find something outside of just the military. Cause I see a lot of sergeant majors and people that spend their whole life and they have their whole character is connected to that uniform, but you have to start to separate yourself at some time. You got to be Brian, you got to be, Scoggins, whatever you want to call it. For me, I've always had all kinds of hobbies. Sometimes I have too many hobbies, like you said, squirrel. But it's important because you get to build yourself up in different things.
I think you surround yourself with different people too, like transitioning from the military, like you know very well, you're in the military, all your friends are in the military. They live the same lifestyle. And as you get out and you make civilian friends, they're different. They're different than what we deal with every day. And it helps that transition and making, this huge network of friends that I have out here that are not service members. You just kind of connected yourself to a different part. And
yeah. What do you think, Andrew? I know you're in the civilian side, so it could be hard to have people that you rely on too, in the civilian side, right?
Yeah. I think I mean, that's one thing I do appreciate about, military guys is that y'all have like a really strong brotherhood. There in the civilian side, there's nothing to really bring you together as strong, as tight knit as the military has, because like, I mean, a lot of guys, it's whatever your hobbies are, right? I mean, you golf, you hang out with golf guys. You go to the bar, you hang out with bar flies. I mean, it's like, well, what kind of camaraderie can you really find? And that's tough to find in the civilian world, as tight knit as the military, because it's not the same as a job, right? Because it's a lifestyle as well. So like you go to the job, like guys that you work with in the civilian world, I mean, or girls, I mean, job friends are not real friends, right? I mean, they're like, they'll stab you in the back just as, they feel, a lot of people can be friends. I'm not saying that nobody at work is friends, but it's like, it's not the same. From I hear the way you guys talk and it's crazy to me, like that's your job and your lifestyle, but y'all have like a brotherhood that goes along with it. And that comes with the struggles that you'll go through together and everything else. And that's great. But, I say military guys, I think I'm starting to, the more I think about it, I think a lot of my friends are military guys. Like I hang out with, with you and my buddy Sean that's out here. He trains people. He does, range training and stuff like that, and I mean, a lot of the guys that I associate with have military ties, military backgrounds. And, but yeah, I mean, one thing I have noticed is as a common theme for people that transition out of the military is you guys all have hobbies and things that you get into and stick to, and just having those circles of friends and support. And the ones that don't, I mean, it's the same as a civilian. If I don't have a circle of friends or somebody I can rely on and depend on, then, I feel lost, just like
I recommend Brazilian jiu-jitsu over jumping out of planes, maybe.
or taking the whole pill.
Or the blue pill. Yeah.
Take the blue
no
pill.
balls. Next time you go to the gym and that guy's checking you out, just pop
Take
that
it
pill,
all.
bro.
Dude,
And then
I'm
next
just
time
gonna
you go
work
to
it out.
jiu-jitsu, bro, just take that pill and be like, sorry.
I'm gonna
It's
take
not
the
my
pill.
fault.
I'm gonna take the pill before I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Be like,
I think
Ron
it's
Burgundy.
real talk. I mean, I know Jocko Willing talks about it. Like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is one of the only things I think as a civilian that you have that camaraderie or brotherhood or a fight team that you bleed together and sweat together. And, that challenges your ego and does things like that. So I would recommend for any of you guys that are listening that are civilians and you're thinking about getting in shape or joining a group or an organization, just walk into a jiu-jitsu academy. If you want to go skydiving, jump in, go skydiving. That shit's dope. Reminds me of like, what's that Point Break and fucking, what's that other movie that,
Point Break.
Point Break was a good one. If you want to have guys like that, it's like, what are we doing this week? Let's go rob a bank. Fucking, you know what I mean?
What was that Wesley
Slippery
Snipes movie?
The Wesley Snipes one was crazy too.
Yeah, I remember watching
where he goes
that,
undercover
like,
and
times.
shit. Yeah.
I watched that when I was a kid. Like I can't even remember the name of it. It was like I watched it like 5 or 6 times. I just remember the bad effects and then like when they were skydiving, they were just
Right.
His face is like this.
It's always super dramatic. Like something happens and they're like this, and then they go and they do this. And they Superman to wherever the other person that's having the issues.
So now that you got all these videos coming out, are you thinking about doing anything like video stuff or choreography or any kind of cool shit like that? Or are you thinking about doing like a story or do some skydiving jumps and putting some cool videos together or anything like that?
I
should.
don't know. Like professionally?
Yeah, just I don't know. Yeah.
Man, I struggled getting on this video call.
Okay.
Just record it, put the content out there.
Well, you can hire somebody, you know what I mean?
Make a TikTok page, dude. That's a quick way. Yeah, man. You can do whatever. Like with your GoPro, make some TikTok videos, and people love that stuff.
Yeah, I wear one when I jump. You know what? Again, once you hit 200 jumps, you can jump with the camera.
So you had 200 jumps, and then you got a camera now too, like
once you hit 200, you can jump with the camera.
Where are you at right now?
I'm almost to 300. So I think just shy.
How much does it cost to jump?
Again, I should know these answers. I think it's somewhere between like $30 to $35.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Sometimes there's deals when they do like
thinking it was a couple
little
$100.
cheaper.
Okay.
So what is the idea behind you can't record, you can't have a camera until you hit 200 jumps? What is that about?
So one, it's a snag hazard, right? When you have that, the parachute deploy, it's going back. So it's a snag hazard. Two, it's one more thing for a new diver to worry about, right? Is it on? Is it recording? Am I in frame? Like, don't worry about that. Do your jump, do it safely. And then when you hit 200, you're comfortable. And then you can start fiddling with the camera. It's just safety thing.
It's like doing a podcast. Like I'm all worried about shit. My kid fucking grabbing me and fucking all these videos, and you kind of get
puppets.
Yeah, dick puppets and giraffes. Like,
but yeah, cameras just add a whole new world to it. You know, it's just one more thing that you're paying attention to instead of paying attention to everything else. You know, safety checks, gear checks, buddy checks. It's one more thing.
I saw a video one time as these guys getting ready to jump out of an airplane, and I guess somebody knocked the GoPro off of their helmet, and then you just see it spinning, spin. It's falling. It's real dramatic, and then it just plop, and then it's like, and then a couple of pigs. It landed in a pig pen, and they just like you see all these pig noses just like take over the lens.
Oh, funny.
It's better than a prairie dog coming up and like humping it or something.
So the drop zone that I jump out a lot, Skydive Phoenix, the ground next to it is a nudist colony. So if the camera flies off, it might not be pigs walking over it, you know?
Hell yeah. It might be a fucking nut sack that falls on it or something.
Yeah, an 80-year-old sunbathing.
Now I seen one video of a guy, he got all caught up and snagged, and like within like 1 second he threw something, or it was like a secondary option or something like that, or a bag. What was that all about?
So that's your reserve. So when I said like the chance.
No, there was like, I think there was something different. There was something different that.
No, I think that's what it was. Like that was recent. The guy was like 1 second from
way
hitting the ground
tied
or
up.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that paraglider guy. Yeah. So
something happened, and
he was pitching out again, it's a reserve, but it's not like a reserve on a parachute that is like, it's coming out, right? He threw that on a paraglider. I don't paraglide, but that's what he was fighting through, and those lines are long. So that was a mess.
Yeah, he was just like a moment away from a disaster, right? And it just
finally, thank God, yeah.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm like in my sheets like that, and I'm all fucking caught up and shit. I try to get out, you know what I mean? I fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever fallen out of your bed and you just like in your sleep, you think you're falling from the sky and you just like hit the ground?
That's a good question, Stuck. Yeah.
What happened? Did that ever happen to you, Stuck? Like you fall out of bed, does that even bother you anymore? You just he wakes up going, woo!
You know, it's funny but before I jumped, you would have those falling nightmares, right? Where you would feel like you're falling. Like I have more dreams about skydiving and like jumping and having that feeling and it being like fun instead of these falling nightmares where you wake up. Like it's.
Yeah, Stuck has nightmares about sitting still. He wakes up. He has a dream about just sitting in a chair, and he wakes up like, oh God, I need to go skydive.
Well, brother, I don't want to spend out too much of your time. We're at about an hour and a half. I'm sure like Renee's probably like, what the fuck are you doing over there? Like,
she's like, I heard you talk about pulling the goalie, so let's go.
Oh yeah.
Dick pills and pulling the goalie.
It must be nice. That's called the honeymoon stage. Wait a little bit. No.
Well, I'm super happy that we finally got to do this because it took weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, it was a little weird. We're like, hey, let's you know, I don't know. I've had some crazy shit around here, and then we did some vacation stuff too. And
yeah, no, for sure. But I'm super happy to be on.
Well, I hope the goalie. You already pulled the goalie, so I hope you score a goal. Because it'd be cool to see you to be a dad too. I mean, I don't know, it'd be pretty awesome. That kid's going to be badass with both parents skydiving and doing badass shit. So, and I look forward to meeting Renee. She seems pretty awesome. So she would have to be in order to fucking land the Stuck.
Soon, we'll invite you to the wedding, man. So hopefully you
Hell
can
yeah.
make it out. September 30th next year will be here in Arizona.
I shouldn't have an excuse. So,
Stuck,
and I might do the crazy white boy dance or something done, or something in the back and scream.
Stuck's baby is going to be like the skydiving equivalent of Ricky Bobby.
You're gonna be the first little infant. You know how they throw an infant in the pool and they're like, "Let's see if you float tests." It's like
pull the ripcord, baby.
Yeah, right out of the mom to the operating room floor.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time on here, and for any of you guys that are looking to skydive, this is a cool guy right here. So where can people find you if you want to? Do you have a social media or a group?
Yeah,
for
no,
skydiving groups out there in Arizona or anything like that.
There are so many drop zones here in Arizona. I mean, this is the mecca to be a skydiver, right? This is I think the best place to be in the States for it. But any state, you can look up drop zones in your area and go take your classes and go get it, or just go do it once and change your view on life. Do it once and it'll open your eyes. So,
yeah. Any last words you want to say, Andrew?
Yeah, I was wondering, how do those air tunnels compare to like
no more fucking questions.
How do those air tunnels compare to like a real skydiving experience?
So an air tunnel teaches you how to fly your body. Mm-hmm. And so to make it really quick, right, you stick your hand out your window when you're driving and you do a little movement and your hand goes all crazy, right? You're doing 60 miles an hour in a car doing this. Imagine doing 120 plus and you move your foot.
Holy
and
fuck, a little bit.
What that single foot movement does or a hand position does to your body in the sky is something else. So getting in a tunnel can get you very comfortable flying your body. That's all it is just learning how to fly.
I'm gonna get in there and pull the ripcord.
And then when you're a jump instructor, you have to fly somebody else's body.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, as an AFFI, you are flying your student's body and correcting them.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Especially if like Andrew is taking one of those pills. He's got a rudder. Got a little tail rudder fucking flying around. See, Stuck. I was gonna say tail rudder too, and Stuck stole that shit. Fucking hell yeah. Great minds think alike.
Yes, they do.
Well, man, it was great having you on, dude.
Yeah, Andrew.
This guy's been talking about you for months, man, and like right from the beginning of us talk, even like the concept of doing a podcast. He was like, "Man, I gotta get my boy Stuck on." Like he's been talking about you since day one. So it was good to finally get you on and get to talk to you, man. I'm sure we'll get to talk some more in the future.
I hope so, man. Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't wait to swim too.
Yeah,
to the school.
Yeah, maybe you can teach me how to swim because I always thought I could swim until I was like 30, and then I realized that I can't swim. I could just not die in the water.
It's the rudder.
You'd think like Stuck was in fucking special forces and recon, but I mean he's already got all of the training. You know what I mean? For the most part, already there. So, any of you guys, I got a brother here that'll probably fuck some shit up. So, it's awesome to have you on. You're inspiring, and I love that. Even though you got out, you're still doing crazy shit. So I just look forward to coming out there and hanging out soon. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Tell Renee thank you for letting you do this, and you'll get your time back.
She will.
Be safe, brother, and I look forward to congratulations again on getting engaged, and we'll see you next September 30th, right?
Hopefully before that. But again, thank you for having me on, Andrew. Super nice meeting you, Brian. We'll catch up again soon, and this was fun.
All right, for everybody that's listening, please make sure you like, subscribe, share. We're still trying to grow this up to 1,000 subscribers. So you need to just take your grandma's phone and look us up on YouTube and Spotify and keep on hitting subscribe. So I appreciate it. Andrew, thanks for staying up late. I know it's late over there on the East Coast. Until next time, stay righteous.